Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I created a few masks. Doug asked me to make a couple of masks for us to have on hand. And I made these from a PDF tutorial that I saw a hospital posted where they were seeking people to make some masks. So I used their recommendation, and again, I'm well aware these are not N95 or N99 proof, but this is what they were asking for, so I went ahead and threw a couple together, and I'm just going to walk you through what I did since I had a lot of requests asking me to do so. So all you're going to need are two pieces of fabric. Mine are cut to 6 by 9, and one's going to be your outer, one's going to be your lining. These are totally reversible. You can use them whichever way you want. I made all of mine with different fabrics on the backs, but that's up to you. Then you're going to need two pieces of elastic. I have some 1/4-inch flat elastic. Whatever you have will be fine. I cut mine to 7 inches. And then what I did was not on the tutorial, but I put a layer of Shape Flex on the back of my fabric on one side. That's just going to give me an extra barrier in there, and it's still soft and going to be comfortable. And I just cut that to 5 by 8 and then just roughly centered it. So the first thing you need to do is take one of your pieces of elastic, and you're just going to put it in the corner at an angle, clip it into place, take the other end, make sure it's not twisted, and clip it into place in the other short corner. So this is your short side. Going to do the same thing, going to do the same thing on this side. Place the elastic in the corner, make sure it's not twisted, and clip it into this corner. So you should have the elastic on the two short corners. Make sure the elastic is towards the middle and not out here where we're going to be sewing. You're going to take your other piece of fabric and put it face down and add that to your clips. And you can add a lot more clips. That's totally up to you. Okay, once you have that done, you want to mark a place in your fabric, and we're going to mark that about 2 inches apart, just like that. And what you're going to do is start sewing here. Sew down, around, all the way back to the other mark. I used a 1/4-inch seam allowance. I did backstitch as I went over the elastic in each corner just to reinforce that a little bit. So go ahead and start at one mark, sew all the way around, and end at the second mark, leaving this area open. Okay, so I've sewn all the way around. I'm going to just trim my corners, make sure I don't get too close, and cut my stitching. And then you're just going to reach inside that hole and turn this right side out. Might want to use a chopstick or a bone folder to push those corners out. And then you're going to take it over to this ironing surface. You're going to tuck this open raw edges in and just press that so that it lays nice and flat with the raw edges poked inside the hole. Once you have that done, all you're going to do is, I just kind of folded mine in the middle to establish where the center is. And then I took that center and just kind of pinched the fabric on either side and made a pleat. And I put a clip right there. And I did the same thing on this side. I clipped the fabric just slightly, about 1/4 inch on each side of that center line, and made that pleat. And then if you want, you can press that down. I just kind of finger pressed it. So you've made your first pleat. Then you want to repeat that and do one up here and one down here. I just find it easier to start with that center one just to kind of get them even. Just folding that fabric. And again, that pleat doesn't have to lay flat. The pleats are just in there to give you room to breathe. And you want to make sure that all your pleats are facing the same direction. So the fabric is pleated towards me. And do one more. clip. One more on this side, clip. All right, so it looks like this. And if you want it, you can, again, finger crease all those pleats all the way across. You could put an iron to it. It might make it a little bit easier to sew. But again, this isn't meant to stay pleated across here. That's going to provide this effect so that you have the little cup in there so that you have room to breathe. So now I'm going to take it over the sewing machine and I'm going to stitch all the way down and all the way down. And I'm going to do that twice on the sides. And then I'm going to stitch along this side all the way down and along this side all the way down. And that's going to close up this little hole that we have right here. If you want, you can just go all the way around and then do it twice and have double stitches all the way around. I did that on one, but on the rest of them, I just sewed once on the top and the bottom and then twice down each side. And there you have it. You've got a totally reversible mask. This slips over the ears and this will spread out on the face. You can use it either way. I do have a Cricut Design Space file linked in the description below the video for those of you who have a Cricut Maker and can cut fabric with the Cricut Maker. I do have a Design Space file. Again, it's linked in the description below the video. And for those of you who don't, obviously you can cut this by hand. Again, I take no responsibility for the effectiveness or non-effectiveness of this mask. This is the one that was linked, and I do have a link to the original tutorial that I read in the description below the video if you'd like to see those PDF instructions and print them out for your own use. So I hope you guys found this helpful. See ya. Bye-bye.